Hey everybody on LinkedIn. This is a video I hope goes really big by you helping share and spread. Not for me really, but for everyone in the advertising business. And here's something, a little bit of history and perspective about why things suck so hard in advertising these days, with the exception of Mischief and a few others. When I came up in the business, actually the people in the generation before me, when they came up in the business, they were pioneers in a way, taking things into a little more modern, with bringing television and all that. And they respected and they learned from what they could do, but they kept bringing the new things. The explosion of radio and television and magazine, printing up better. And by the time that I got in the business, we were at the tail end of paste ups and type you ordered from somewhere else, and lucigraphs and photostat cameras, and film had to be processed, and when you shot film you had to convert it to digital, and all that fun stuff you had to do to get to where you were going, and cutting tape and audio sessions. It doesn't matter. And the thing was, even then I worshipped the work of Bill Bernbach, Howard Gossage, some of the European work that had been done in the 1960s. And when I discovered in 1980 Chiat/Day, I knew this is the kind of work I wanted to do. And I understood how much they loved Doyle Day and Bernbach. And as the 80s went on, and then the other people who came along, Fallon McElligott Rice, and Goodby Berlin Silverstein and some others, that moved the work forward in quality, right? And then St. Luke's. The point is that there was a continual respect of what came before, even as we're pulling and pushing it forward into new things. And because people are living longer, you see people who are still in the business into their 70s and all that, who are still writing books and complaining about how things are. Well, I complained about ads when I was in my 20s. I just complain with wisdom now. And back then I complained just with youthful, "Narg! Why isn't it this?" That's how I was in the 20s. So anyway, the point is, you've got to understand where you come from. And don't let anything, not computers, not Photoshop, not Adobe software, not Quark Express, not the metaverse, not data, not even AI, change what it is we do and who we are, human beings. In other words, if you really, really like the work of some agency in the 90s or the early 2000s that really, really moves you, carry that forward. Take something from them and go. If, like me, if you really adore the work of Mischief, take that into your own and take it forward into something new and different that you make your own. This idea that, advertising is dead, the ad agency model is dead, and all that. I mean, certainly it's under attack, but nothing's dead because people aren't dead yet, and people still need to be sold, and people like to be sold. I'll say that again. People like to be sold something they want to buy. And it's our job to make the selling easy, fun, meaningful. So the point is, as history goes on, don't forget where you came from, because the young people in the business now, like any time, have the power, the gumption, the new ideas, the iconoclastic want to tear things down. And what you gain over time is wisdom, which means you have an appreciation of history. My good buddy Justin, who does all the great stuff from the turn of the century, finding lessons in the 1800s, early 1900s, that's an extreme version of that. But what it means is you've got to understand that as a human being, you are part of a flow of history, and this is your part of it. And if you're in the advertising industry, you're part of a flow of people in advertising. And if you reject everything and say, hey, it's all AI now it's going to be doing that, or it's all going to be metaverse. Remember that from 2 years ago? Everything was going to be metaverse. Look, I'm not complaining about AI. It's exciting. But like most things, it's in the hands of idiots. So what I'm trying to tell you is support history. Support recent history. Support understanding that we are part of a flow evolution. We don't have to constantly start and stop or think we're starting and stopping. Every single agency that does any kind of work that you ever kind of like began with one thing. Find out what that one thing was. Find that one thing that turned them into who you want to be, and do it in your way. Study the past. Study the recent past. Have heroes. Come on. Now, of course, in the old days, there were just very few credits on anything, and you got to build heroes. You found the art directors, remember art directors, and writers and creative directors that you thought were the great, who were doing this great work and looking in the award annuals. And remember, award annuals, as we know them, haven't been around that long, maybe since the 1950s, and the first ones were coming out, showing up in art schools and whatnot. But the way they are now, it's a total cottage industry. But we really don't use them the way we used to. The main thing is, don't worry about the tool. Don't worry about the tool. Just make the idea, what you can possibly dream would be the most outrageous, cool, simple thing that human beings will love. And do it in the style of someone you really respond to, and then make it your own. Find someone in the past that achieved something in quality or awards or in success that you really, really like, and copy from them, learn from them, and find the people today who care about that and are pushing it harder, and get on their side, as I do. It's really, really important to understand what history means and what our part to play in history really is. I don't know, if that made any sense to you, please share it, because I think that's important for us to know our part in history, not simply to reject it, but to amplify it and push it forward.